Howdy ho and welcome to Rauta's Vinyl Monday. This time, however, we don't have exactly a metal release, but kind of a synthesizer music. Some would like to call it synthwave, some would like to call it dungeons, and some would call it just synthesizer music. I don't really care which way you want to call it. I would just say this is somewhere between ambient and synthesizer music in terms of nodding towards dungeon synth, but not exactly synthwave. There are, however, parts that could be maybe heard in various different genres, so let's go with that. This one is Old Sorcery, and this is a little bit of an older vinyl version. I think this originally came out in early 2020, but arrived a little bit late to the party, so here it is. I've been waiting. The band logo is vaguely seen here as this kind of a, I don't know what it's called, but kind of a almost like a hidden lacquered version, I guess it's called. And here we have this kind of a white glowing tree in the middle of a rather dark forest. This one is called Clandestine Meditation in 2 chapters, and it's technically speaking a compilation because it features 2 EPs. The Path Lies Hidden and an Inkling of Void. This is one-man project, and you might know this one man from a band called Warmoon Lord, a Finnish black metal of good quality. But he has also various other projects, of which Old Sorcery is one of them. This is indeed synthesizer music, but it has, according to the facts listed, some black metal parts too, but mostly it's operating in synthesizer music. He also has a synthwave project, so there is that, and this, I guess, is a crossroads of a release of those 2 different styles. And this one just happens to be a beautiful gatefold, which you can see here. Features some words uttered here, as well as a little bit of art to go with. So it's a beautiful packaging with a nice green, almost like a slime green color of a vinyl. And you have the band's metal archive site for reasons I mentioned, black metal being part of the deal here, that it's also why it's listed here on Metal Archives, even though it's mostly just non-metal music. And as you can see, 4 albums in and then some splits, EPs and whatever. And The Path Lies Hidden was released as an EP, as well as this An Inkling of Void. Different eras. However, Clandestine Meditation in 2 chapters is this compilation featuring both. And this is an interesting case. I've never been too big of a fan of Dungeons and music. For me, it's way too repetitive, and it also sounds often like it's a cheap-ass version of what's going on with the 1990s or even late 80s kind of a video game music. I'm talking about Commodore 64 and the like, or more importantly, Amiga 500 era. You know, when those home computers made their way and had a lot of fantastic games. I grew up with those, so I can kind of understand, the feeling those songs are creating and giving you. However, Dungeons and projects often took the basic ideas of those kind of music and started doing that. And it's sometimes it's like horrible. It's as beautiful as I was just singing right there, humming. But there are, obviously some exceptions to the rule. I think, for example, Burzum did great synth parts, those intros, outros, interludes, whatever, during his early 90s. That is way before the Prison albums came out, which are not that good. And Mortis did with that and his other projects kind of okay material, but I was never a fan of those stuff, except with some individual Burzum tracks here and there. However, some Dungeons and ones are just waste of my time, and then there are these artists like Old Sorcerer, which are actually pretty good. And the reason is this: it's not just copying Mortis and the like with its rather, basic synthesizer using and learning their very basics once again from the 90s, but it's like more evolved version of that. So it has more ambience, it also has more interesting melodies and keyboard parts in other ways, which then again constitute to this EP or combination of EPs here in this compilation. The end result is, this is way more interesting than your typical Dungeons and release, because it's not just, this one finger technique kind of a Dungeon synth, but it's not also purely ambient. There are more patterns and more melodic parts, if you will, which then again makes this more diverse as so many others in the genre. Now, obviously, not for everybody. You kind of have to like instrumental keyboard or synthesizer music to like this kind of stuff to begin with. So it's not for everybody. But those who have a soft spot for Dungeon synth or synthwave or just synthesizer music or even video game soundtracks in the 90s and the 80s, they might really like old Sorcery. I think this one has some really nice ideas, and I would say this is pretty good. Not as good as my favorite synthwave albums, but then again they're a little bit different genre and even era mostly, nor like the modern days soundtracks, be it from video games or movies or TV shows. So it's more like a matter of taste also. But this is something that in my opinion is more mature than so many Mortise or, for example, Burzum keyboard albums. So take it with that. If you like them, there's no reason why not to give old Sorcery a chance. But then again, if you get allergic reactions even from the mention of Dungeon synth, well, don't give this a chance, because this is not gonna save your day, even if it sounds a lot better. So there's that. Now, I don't know what's the deal with this vinyl edition, because it's like 2 years late to the party, but give it a chance if you can find it. I mean, you can check out the music from the links provided, and if you do like it, well, vinyl editions such as this is always a good option to have, because it's beautiful and it sounds cool. So there's that. Now, this is my review. You go and give it a chance, and see you soon with more reviews coming your way. Bye bye.